Y'all, today's show is so good.
But number one, I've never seen an intro like that.
It is my hope and desire that not only will episode 30 still be fun, but episode 300 will be even more fun. You were made for something great, so go and be awesome.
Ten seconds remaining.
Hello, and welcome to the show. My name is Renee Hastings, and I'm your host of Renee Speaks. Y'all, today's show is going to be so amazing, and part of the reason why is because of our sponsor, Wilbron. Wilbron is Alabama's premier public relations firm. Definitely check them out at www.wilbron.com. And now to our guest, y'all. Today's guest is Lindsay May. Lindsay is a seasoned marketing expert, and she founded the Happy Marketing Company in January 2023, which specializes in SEO and website consultancy for female entrepreneurs. She also launched The Happy Leader, a community and podcast supporting women in leadership. And her mission is to empower women, heal burnout, and foster professional growth. Y'all, put your hands together for Lindsay May.
Hello. That was an intro that I have never experienced before, and now I just feel so excited to chat with you. This is so fun.
Well, it is so awesome to have you on the show. When we talk about SEO and marketing, when it comes to business, it can be so intimidating. If you're not a techie, if you don't understand all the language and the lingo and what even a hashtag means or the power of a hashtag. I mean, it's so daunting, daunting. So I'm so excited to have you on the show to break it down for us non-techie people, myself included, because you just make it look so easy. You just make it look so easy.
Well, when we're in our zone of genius, everything looks easy. So I'm really excited to break it down and make it digestible and have fun with it, because marketing can be fun and SEO can be really fun, even though it is so techy. But yeah, I'm excited to jump in.
Awesome. Well, let's do it. So tell us how you got started. What's your background like? I mean, did you go to high school and this was something that you discovered and so you went to college for it? I mean, how did you even start this journey?
Yeah, great question. So in high school, I was not a great student. I would rather be out there in the world volunteering or hanging out with my friends or whatever. And so I loved English because it was kind of easier for me to write stories and all of that. And so when I graduated in college, I was a journalist. And so I was an editor of my college paper, and which I loved. It was just such a fun college experience. And then after graduating college, I was like, I'm going to keep doing this. I'm going to keep exploring what this looks like as a professional. And so I climbed my way up through a magazine. I started as an intern and then a desk editor and then the editor-in-chief. And I got to travel the world and interview celebrities and go to resorts, and like having that job as a 21, 22-year-old was a dream. And I did that for about 5-6 years. But while I was doing that, I was also learning about marketing, because content and marketing play so well together. And I figured figured that I wouldn't be a journalist forever, right? I wanted like a big girl job. And so I started learning marketing, and with marketing, focusing on content, I started learning about this thing called SEO, which is search engine optimization. I know we'll get into that, but I was like, I want to challenge myself. I want to do something that not a lot of women are doing, but something that I know is important for the business I'm working for and all of that. And so, I mean, I've been in marketing now for 15 years, and that crossed over into journalism too, but I've been in SEO for 10. And again, not being a very female-led aspect of marketing, I was like, I'm going to take this on, I'm going to rock it, and I'm also going to help other women understand it. And so, while I was in corporate, climbing the ladder, doing all this work, I was working 60, 70 hours a week. I was working nights and weekends. And I was like, I'm just feeling completely burned out. And I would communicate that and just kept getting the same message of like, well, how are you managing your time? Or, I feel like you could work over the weekend to like make up for time. And I'm just like, when am I supposed to rest? Right.
Right.
Yeah, it was exhausting. So the last 2 years of my corporate career, I was like, I have to think bigger now. Do I want to do this for the rest of my life where I'm just so burned out, so exhausted and giving everything I have? And so a year ago, right before Christmas, I just had this moment where I was like, I want to stop sacrificing my mental health and my happiness for a paycheck. And so I quit, and I didn't have a job lined up. I even get the chills now thinking about it, because I'm like, don't tell other people to do that. But it felt right for me at the time. And that was a little over a year ago. And I launched my business, like started building it in January, officially launched in February 2023. And it's been a whirlwind. I'm still on the roller coaster of being a new entrepreneur, but it's been incredible. And to realize that you don't have to stay in a job that you hate, a job that is taking away your peace and all of that. I mean, it is possible, and it's not easy, but it's definitely possible. And I feel like it's just something that I get to wake up and enjoy my freedom, but also getting to support my mental health and not having this really negative effect that burnout had on me.
Right. Absolutely. I mean, that'll preach right there. Because it's so true. I mean, we've got one life to live.
Yeah.
As my friend Dan Jordan would say, you got one life to live, for crying out loud. But it's true. We have to be mindful of our mental space. Have to take care of our physical bodies.
Yeah.
Because if we don't do it, and this one life, this one chance that we get, what's our quality of life going to be like when we're older and we don't have all the options that we have right now?
Yeah.
Right? So that's so smart. I'm so proud of you for being so brave and taking the leap, because I know it's not easy to just go out there. But when you bet on yourself, I mean, that's like the ultimate affirmation.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, I love that.
So kudos to you. Kudos to you. And like you said, it may not be for everybody, but definitely something to keep in mind. You got one life to live. Think of your quality of life right now. And even when my kids were younger, I was thinking, because I was working a full-time day job and a part-time night job, and I missed my first son's whole first year of life. And I didn't even get to see his first steps. I didn't get to hear his first word. You can never get that back, right?
So true.
Yeah, so make good choices, people. Make good choices.
Yes.
We got options today.
Yes, you do.
That's right. So, Lindsay, tell us a little bit more about what made you start the Happy Marketing Company.
Yeah, I mean, I knew that I wanted to do something with marketing because, first of all, I needed income pretty quickly because I didn't have anything else lined up for me. And so I was like, well, why don't I use the skills that I already have? And, I started contracting. I would go onto Fiverr and Upwork and all these places where you can just find these one-off little contract jobs. And it worked for a while. And then I was like, I feel like I could make a business out of this. And so I'm always the one who's doing something spontaneous and like calling my parents and be like, guess what? I started a business. So I created an LLC and just jumped in. I was like, I have to make this work because I don't have a backup plan. And I just started putting myself out there. And the thing that I did at first was like, I was offering everything within marketing. So social media, email, websites, SEO, everything, because I just needed the clients. But I really wanted to figure out, like, what do I really want to do? Now that I just experienced all of this burnout and this stress in my life that actually caused an autoimmune disease for me. That's how stressed out I was. I was like, I don't want to feel this way anymore. And so realizing that I went from one boss to basically 5 bosses, I was like, let's niche down a little bit. And so that's when I remembered the power of SEO and how much I'm obsessed with it. And I was like, I think I could make this my main business. And I mean, once I started posting about SEO on, my website and social media, people were like, okay, I've heard of this. I feel like I need this, but I don't know what it is. And so for me, it's just been so cool that I get to teach, especially female entrepreneurs, about SEO, how to start incorporating it, why it's so important. And so, yeah, I mean, it kind of happened accidentally starting my business, but I will say I just took one step every day. Like, what can I do today? Okay, I created my LLC. Now I'm going to start on my website. Now I'm going to create an Instagram account. And so I think if you take these little steps every single day, it becomes easier and you realize the dream as you're literally building it. And that's definitely what happened for me. And like I said, it's been a journey, but I love it. I'm obsessed with my company, and it's called the Happy Marketing Company because I wasn't happy for so long. And I was like, I'm going to do it my way. And so I'm going to work that in there. And yeah, that's kind of the story.
That is so awesome. That is just so incredibly awesome. And I'm sorry that your health took a hit for all the stress that you were under before, but so glad that you made the leap and so glad that you decided to delve into a field that is so challenging for so many so that you can provide the service. So it's like you saw where there was a need and just filled the gap with your business. And that's what you're doing. And I love how you say, just break it down into small baby pieces. Every day, just do one new thing. And before you know it, you're a real business. You're a whole big girl business.
Yeah, I love that. So true.
Man, I can relate so well. I can, and as you're building your business and bringing on team members and to help you scale and that sort of thing, and even before you get there, mastering this whole SEO thing or teaching other people how to master it or get a handle on it and showing them how it can help really optimize and to help them scale their business. I think that is just so crucial for so many of us. So we're going to dive right in and I'm going to ask you to just basically break it down. What is SEO? Why do we need it? What can it do? And how do we do it?
Yeah. I love this question. I could talk about this question all day. So let me break it down because I feel like a lot of people have heard SEO, but it stands for search engine optimization. And it's basically the process of editing the content and these core SEO elements on your website so that it's talking to Google and telling Google, this is what I do. These are the services that I offer. These are the products that I sell. And you're conveying that really well in your content. Because think of a referral, like in your network. Let's say you go to a networking group and you're talking to another entrepreneur and they're like, hey, do you know anyone who works in social media? Or do you know anyone who offers business coaching? And you're like, yes, I got a girl for that. Let me send her your info. That's basically the connection between your website and Google. Google is a referrer of traffic to your website, but Google needs to know what you do. And so that's why we optimize your content. That's why we have keywords explaining the products and services that you offer so that Google knows exactly what that is and says, okay, now I know you're an authority, you're a professional, I know what services you offer, I know the value that you offer. So I'm going to put you in the search results on Google so that people looking for a service or product like yours, they can see you, they can click on your website. So it's really just this connection between your website and Google that Google's like, got it. Now I know who to refer your way. And that's why content is so important. The copy on your website, the images and the experience. And that's how you will rank on Google, which basically means, if you search for anything on Google, let's say you're looking for a yoga studio near you and you Google that and you see all these results, you want to be in the top 10 results. Really, the top 5 is really where it's at. And that's why we edit your content. That's why we have these certain SEO elements. And so, yes, it's very technical, but at the same time, if you know what you do and your services and your products, now let's convey that to your audience. And who is your audience? Do you serve women? Do you serve men? So these are all keywords that we use in your content authentically and very, on brand and all of that. But it's really just targeting and positioning your content so that you show up on Google and so the right people can find you and book a call with you or buy your products. So yeah, yes, it's complex. There's so much to SEO when it comes to your keywords, your content, your images, and all of that too. But that's why I like to teach on it. And that's why I like to, empower female entrepreneurs so that their website doesn't just exist. It's actually converting and it's bringing the right people to their website. So it's not just like pretty, but it actually has a purpose. So that's what SEO is. Yeah. And you need it because yeah. So many business owners come to me and they spend $5,000 or $10,000 on a custom website, and then they have no one looking at it, or they're getting all this traffic from all over the world, but they're a local business. And so it's really important because you don't want to waste money. You don't want to waste time. And another fun fact is social media, for example. A lot of entrepreneurs put a lot of time into social media, and that's great. But social media content has a lifespan of about 24 to 48 hours, meaning that the most that people are going to engage with your content is really within the first few days. But with website content, and especially a blog, that content is relevant for 2 to 10 years. Like that content, once you create a blog, it is out there in the universe and it is going to be working for you around the clock. And that's why I push blogs so much, because they're so powerful and they really do help convert your business. And it's just a very important tool that you need to use. So if you don't have a blog, that's definitely a big tip for today.
Yes, I love that tip. If you don't have a blog, start one today.
You need it.
And we've had someone on the line who says that they've been wanting to learn about SEO for a while, but it seems really complex. And you admittedly said it is a bit complex, but that's why you offer classes.
Yes.
And that's also too maybe why, if people don't have the time for classes, that they can actually hire someone who specializes in this thing. Because like you said, SEO is like your business card at a networking event.
Yeah.
So it's what connects you to Google.
Yeah.
And so when someone wants to find out about a service like yours, they're going to Google it, right? Yeah. They're going to say, where, like you said, the nearest yoga studio. Where's the nearest yoga studio? You want to show up in those top 5 results.
Yeah.
Then the way you do that is by making sure that your website is optimized so Google knows to point to you. With your yoga studio as the place where people want to go.
Yeah, right. And for every business, plumbers need SEO, business coaches need SEO, supplements, right? Every type of business out there, you need a website, number one, and you need SEO, again, to put it in the right people, put it in front of the right people on Google. And content is king when it comes to SEO, or should I say queen, because, that's what I am, but, and YouTube, but, it is complex, but I will also have sessions where we can break down, what your website needs, because a lot of times it's like, but what do I need as a business owner? So we can definitely figure that out too.
Right. I love that. Thank you so much for what you do, because it is truly, truly, truly needed. And Lucy wants to know if it's acceptable to use AI tools like ChatGPT for blogging, and does it affect the SEO? Great question, Lucy.
Such a good question, Lucy. I love this. Okay. So you can use ChatGPT. You can use AI for writing blog content, and that does save a lot of time. So definitely recommend it. However, you need to tell AI, whichever tool you're using with ChatGPT, you need to tell it the keywords that you want in the content, because once you have your keywords, that's going to position your content in front of the right people. But you also need to incorporate your brand in the content. If you have a blog that does not sound like you, it doesn't align with your business, and it doesn't really talk about your services and products the way that you do, people are going to tell. So if you use AI to write a blog, totally fine, but you need to edit it. You need to look at it, make sure it has the right keywords, make sure it sounds like it's written by a human and not a robot. And then that will definitely help. And I mean, yes, Google will see if you just used AI for a blog and it's not edited and there aren't keywords and it doesn't sound like your business. Also, something else that I tested recently is AI can generate the same content for numerous people. So if you just copy and paste the content from AI, it could be plagiarism. It could already be out there in the world. So I would definitely kind of put in your prompts, like, help me write a blog about gut health supplements and gut health trends in 2024. Here are the keywords I want you to use. I want the tone to sound professional and creative. And then take that content and edit it a lot so that it's not plagiarism. You could even use a tool like Grammarly, but it will still save you time. I mean, some people, it takes them a couple of hours to write one blog, versus with AI, I mean, it could take you 15 minutes and then maybe 30 minutes to edit it, or whatever, your strength is with that. But you have to edit the content. Otherwise, could be plagiarism. And yes, then Google will pick up on that. But otherwise, it's okay to kind of get started. And you can also use it for, like, what are some trends within my industry right now that I could write a blog about? And then it'll generate some topics for you. And then you can write a blog about that too. So you can use AI, but just be careful and be intentional and definitely edit that content.
I love that. And one of the things I heard too, maybe you can verify or deny, but if you include your website in the prompt, it'll make it more targeted to whatever result you're trying to get and make it sound more like you.
Yeah, you can definitely, I mean, if you use an AI tool, there are ways to kind of include your brand in every piece of content. But yeah, you can say, here's my business, or here's my website. I want it to sound like this content too. So it's kind of like, tell it what to do, and then it'll do the heavy lifting. Like, kind of pretend that AI is like an intern who works for you, and you need to give it a lot of guidance and say, here's what I need from you. Here's how long it should be. Here are the topics, things like that. So you're the expert at the end of the day. Don't let AI kind of take that over from you, because this is your business, right? So yes, you can definitely tell it, this is my business. This is who I am. You can say, write it from the perspective of a business coach or a woman or things like that. You just have to give AI a lot of prompts, and then the content will be a little bit more specific to your business.
Yes, absolutely. I love that question, Lucy. Thank you so much for prompting us to get started down this discussion about AI, because it is, whether we like it or not, it's here and it's here to stay. So we might as well get good at it.
Yes, exactly.
And it does, number one, make our job so much easier, and it does help with our SEO, which is so important to being found. What good is having a business if you can't be found?
Yeah.
So that's, so crucial, so super important. So when we're thinking about our businesses and our marketing and getting the word out about us and who we are and what we're doing, how important is community? I mean, the name of our show today is The Power of Connection. How does connection and marketing go together?
Ooh, this is such a good question. I think in a few ways. So number one, if you're an entrepreneur, you need community and you need connection, because if you're doing it all on your own, there's no inspiration, there's no support, there's no accountability, and you're literally just by yourself in it. And so that's one of the first things that I did when I became an entrepreneur, was I joined a women's networking group here in Denver. And I just needed support, and I needed to bounce ideas off of people who have been in my shoes as an early entrepreneur, or, other marketing experts too, right? So I think that's really powerful for the actual entrepreneur. But I think more than that, connection in terms of marketing and marketing your services, your products is everything, because people just want to connect. I mean, on social media, they want to connect. They don't want to be sold to. They don't want to just read about your services and feel nothing, right? So I think when you're trying to market whatever products you're selling, whatever services, if you're a coach, if you have a physical product, anything like that, you need to connect with your people. So build a community in your DMs and have Instagram lives, ask people questions, just like people are doing on this show, submitting questions. You want to hear from your community, because those are the people who are going to work with you. And so it should feel very authentic. So I think we need community as entrepreneurs for sure, especially as women. I think that's really important, but also it's so important to connect with the people who are following you, the people who are attending your webinars, the people who are in your email, right? So I think connection is everything, and it can take you from, a 3 or 4 figure month to a 5-figure month, because you're connecting. And people, again, they don't want to be sold. They want to be connected with, they want to feel like you heard them. And so I think that can drastically change your business, but it can also give you data. I mean, when people are asking you questions in the DMs or responding to a poll with that connection in mind, again, you're learning what they want and what their struggles are, what their challenges are in life or business. And so I think connection just has so many important strengths. And if you're not connected, you're just not going to get anywhere. Really, I think that's a huge thing for this year, especially after coming through COVID and all of that. We just want to be connected to, and want to feel like there's human connection a part of everything that we're doing. And so I love that the title is all about connection, because that is everything.
Yes, I could not agree more. 100% facts. That you have got to build community around being a business owner.
Yeah.
Because when we were first getting started, word of mouth referrals was the only way we got new clients.
Yeah.
And as long as we were doing a great job for them and they continued to be happy with our service, they would tell their friends. And then their friends would tell their friends. And then their friends would tell their friends. And so it was an incredible power of connection and who knows who. And even though there may be people in your community who may not need what you have to offer right now, they may need it in the future, or they may know someone else who needs it. And their network, because it's outside of your network, may reach further and get you more business because of who they know.
Yeah.
So there's always somebody to talk to about your business or about their business, because the more you learn about what other people do, the better connector you can be.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. That's juicy. That's good.
Yeah. I love it. I absolutely love it. And I'm a firm believer. Like when I said 100% facts, that is, I'm a living, breathing witness.
Yeah.
Of the power of connection and community, and doing the work of, because it can be work, y'all. I'm just going to keep it real, because not everybody likes to network. Not everybody likes to go out and talk about their business. Not everybody is good about talking about their business. And not everybody is a great listener.
Yes, it's true.
It can take some effort. It takes intentional effort to build this community and be seen as a resource within this community. But it's worth it. It is so worth it.
Yeah.
Because you become the authority. When people learn about you, you become the authority. And so if they get a question, they're like, oh, no, I don't know anything about that. But Call Lindsay.
Yeah.
She's your girl. Here, she found that. Blah, blah, blah. Hook them up.
Yes, exactly. I love it.
Absolutely. I love that. So, are there different places that you go? Like, I know that you said that you're in Denver and you're part of a professional women's networking group.
Yeah.
Are there other places where people can go to get connected? Maybe they're shy, maybe they're introverts. How do they come out of this place to take
Yeah.
advantage of these opportunities?
Ooh, okay, I love this. And I have a great example actually, because I'm still learning about how to meet people and network, whether they're entrepreneurs or just meeting friends as an adult is a little bit challenging. But one thing that I just realized that I haven't jumped on this for, since now is Facebook groups. And I know there's like a love-hate relationship with Facebook groups, and I totally get that. But I would search for Facebook groups in your state. I mean, wherever you are, there's probably a women's networking group near you. And there's one that I just joined on Facebook like 3 weeks ago. And you do an intro, you talk about your business, and then everyone comments. And I literally got like 60 comments wanting to work with me about SEO. And I was like, what is going on? How did I not know about this?
Oh, I love
It
that.
was amazing. And so then you take it to the DMs and you start having conversations. But more than that, more than for my business, they host like a monthly happy hour. They have a monthly like co-working day. And so I went to one of those. So if you're an introvert and you're like, how do I ease into this rather than having to show up to an event by myself? I would try to find some Facebook groups that are within your community, within whatever kind of niche or whatever kind of community you want to belong to, whether that's women's or whatever. I would try to find something on Facebook. I would join it, start having conversations, start commenting on other posts. And, people will comment on your post when you give a little intro, and it's not like you have to do a video, so you're comfortable. But then go to an event. Everyone is probably showing up alone. And that's how you meet people. That's how you start having conversations. And again, you can be a great referral for someone, or they can refer your company. But more than that, I've made so many good friends by just getting in the room. And I know that's scary for a lot of people, even being an extrovert. That's scary for me. I'm like, what do I wear? What am I going to say? Do I bring business cards? I mean, everyone goes through that. So ease into it, but join a group, join a community, and ease into it and show up to an event. And if you don't like it, you can leave after 10 minutes, but at least you're trying to get out there, especially as, again, women, especially as entrepreneurs, we need that connection, and you just never know who you're going to meet. I've met best friends at these kinds of things. So it is really, it's worth it. And again, you don't have to show up on day one to a big event, but I would ease into it and find a community that feels really good for you and your needs as a human.
Right. Oh, that's so good. What great advice, Lindsay. And just hearing you talk about that brought back to mind this book that I read so many years ago. I was at a conference and they were talking about networking. And there was an author there by the name of Deborah Fine.
Okay.
And no, this is just a plug for Deborah Fine. I'm not getting paid for this. But she wrote a book called The Fine Art of Small Talk. And that book for me was a game changer when it came to networking, because there were so many useful tips and tricks, and it was an easy read. You could read it easily in a day. But every single word was just such a golden nugget for me to help me get comfortable with being in places with strangers and being able to strike up a conversation and feel comfortable about it, and how to put on my listening ears so that I could, remember them, the next time I heard about something that might resonate with them, when I'm talking with someone else. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I love that. I mean, we're all learning. We're as we're evolving as entrepreneurs or even just women or people, right, in the world. We all learn. And I think you're a great listener because you literally picked up so many things and repeated them to me. But yeah, I mean, it's different when you're in a room with 100 people and you're like, I have no idea what's going on. And you're trying to remember names. But I feel like I need this book. So I love that plug and done.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, The Fine Art of Small Talk. I highly recommend the book. And like I said, super easy read by Deborah Fine, and one of the best purchases I ever made. I'm not even going to tell you how old it is, probably over 10 years old. But anyways, it still works.
Good. I love it.
Oh, there it is. The
There
Fine
it is.
Art of Small Talk by Deborah Fine.
All
Yes.
right.
So that's it. I highly recommend it. It's one of my recommendation tips of the day.
Mhm.
So definitely check it out. And then she also wrote another one later called The Fine Art of the Big Talk when you get to negotiation tables.
Ooh, that's
So,
a good one too. Okay.
I know, right?
Yay. You need an Amazon link because everyone's gonna need these books.
Right. I definitely, okay, our producer heard you.
Yeah.
She'll get them.
I love it.
So good. So good. And then also one of the things that you mentioned is that you met some of your best friends at these networking events. And maybe before you went to the event, you had no idea who these people were. But because you met them, you had something in common, you guys were able to carry a conversation, you continued it later on, and just the relationship grew. And that's how it is in personal life as well as in business life. You know, you just keep on staying in touch and staying in touch. And I have found that when I've gone to networking events by myself is when I'm most productive. If I go to a networking event with a friend, me and my friend are like stuck together like glue,
Yeah.
and we're just not really, leaving one another.
Yeah.
But when I go by myself, I have to talk to people.
Right?
I don't have my friend as my crutch to hang on to and keep me, feeling safe or whatever. So I stretch. And that's what we do as entrepreneurs. We stretch outside of our comfort zones. And then the more we stretch, the more we're able to do a year later, even a month later, weeks later. It doesn't matter. Over time, as you continue to stretch yourself, you continue to grow in these skills. And then before you know it, you're hosting podcasts.
There we go. I love it. Yay.
And it's like not a stranger that you haven't met that that you don't love. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we're literally networking right now and it's amazing. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, truly. It's so fantastic. So, Lindsay, as we get ready to wrap up, I know that we might be coming up close on time. I want people to get an opportunity to learn a little bit more about marketing. What are some, for the beginning entrepreneur, what are some suggestions that you have for them that they need to start out with? Like these are must-haves, non-negotiables in terms of marketing their business, especially if they're a solopreneur.
Well, I'm always going to be biased with a website and SEO, but I will say that probably the number one mistake that I made was not working on my email list, because we want to build, again, connection, but we want to build this network of people that we're communicating with every single week. And we can do that on social media and on our website. But an email list is something that you own. I mean, social media, you don't own that. Once you post that content, like Instagram, I think there were 3 days where we were struggling with stories this week and posts, and it was just messy. And a lot of people put all their attention into Instagram. So yes, I would, number one, get the social media channels and start building a network there, but also an email list. Put your email list on your Instagram and your stories, but you need to start building this community who is interested in the value that you're offering, is interested in what, you're educating them on, right? It's not just about selling in email. So I would start building an email list from the beginning, because even if you have 10 people on the list in your first couple of months, at least it's going to gain some momentum. So that's really important. When it comes to a website, since we've talked about that so much, like I said, I think this is really important to have a website, especially in your first year of business, when people are researching you and they want to see what kind of value you provide. but that doesn't have to be the first thing that you do. I don't want you to go bankrupt because you're paying for a custom website. But I will say, start creating one on Squarespace, for example. I think it's like $20 a month to have a website subscription. So find a template and then start creating content around your business. And it'll become easier as you're growing your business, but start there. Have a blog where you're starting to write content, because again, when we have so many competitors in our business, we need a place where we're like, this is who I am. This is what I provide. Here's my value. And here's a freebie. Like, there's just so many things that you can add to your website, so much value. And so I would really also think about, like, what is your goal for next month, but what is your goal for the end of the year? Because I didn't really do this when I was in my business. And I feel like that's why I didn't start an email list, because I was like, I just need clients. And I feel like a lot of us are in that space. So I would kind of plan out your year. Like, I'm going to launch my website in 6 months, 6 months after I launch my business. That's totally fine. Let's start working on your content. Let's figure out who your audience is. But just kind of make a to-do list for yourself when it comes to marketing, because you don't want to forget to create an email list like I did until like 6 months later, where I was like, I have no one in my world, right? So I think it's really important to just kind of organize yourself and make a plan. And like I said from the beginning of this interview, take one action every single day. I'm going to create the LLC, or I'm going to create the Instagram account. I'm going to show up on stories today. Even if it's just a little action, you just need to take action, because no one else is going to run your business for you. No one else is going to keep you accountable like you are. So I think that's really important to just remember who you are, why you wanted to start this business, and then get organized and get to work. I mean, there's so much work we can do, but one day at a time is really kind of my motto for myself and my clients. And I think that's what we can kind of commit to, is just taking it day by day, but also being smart and kind of planning ahead. And that's really how, I grew my company in this first year. So
that's fantastic. What great advice. And I love that your company will basically take people by the hand.
mm-hmm.
So even if they don't know how to do all of this themselves, or maybe somebody's just thinking about starting a business, or they are just brand new into it and still trying to figure it out. And even if they've been in it for a long time, but still haven't mastered this part, you work with clients to help them plot all of this out so it makes sense, and they can baby step their way into being, getting where they want to go. That reminds me of a movie that I watched years ago called What About Bob? I may be aging myself. Yes. Bob was a guy who had to do baby stepping everywhere to do anything.
Yeah, I do remember that. Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. So it's one of my favorite movies. Anywho, that is great advice. It's very doable when you think about one thing, one step at a time.
Yeah.
Keep it manageable, keep it easy. And if it's intimidating, call you, reach out to you. You will help them. And when you have someone in your corner who's for you, it's so much easier to get it done, right?
Yeah, for sure. You're not alone. Yeah,
you're not alone. You're definitely not alone. So Lindsay, how can people reach you after today's show? I know Lucy had these great questions, and she thanks us for our comments and answering her question. How do people reach you? She said, thanks for the tips after today's show.
Yeah. So I offer a lot of education and resources on Instagram. So my Instagram is at The Happy Marketing Co. And, send me a DM. I'm happy to send you a little voice note about where I would start, especially Lucy, if you want to follow about the blog, because you definitely need to start that. You can also look at my website, thehappymarketing.co. And I just go into more about what I do. But the biggest thing is you don't have to feel alone in this. We're in this together. I've been through this journey myself, and there's my website. You can learn a little bit about me too. She's about to get a revamp, so it won't look like this in about a week, but yeah, I'd love to connect with you and chat with you. And like I said, you're not alone in this. I'm here to support you if it's just jumping on a call or whatever. So thank you so much for having me. This was so much fun.
Yes, absolutely. And as we have talked about at the beginning of the show, right? You are making a switch that is to welcome. Would you like for our audience to be the first to hear?
Absolutely. You're on the page now too. So I currently have a podcast called The Happy Leader. And this has been something that's been a great resource for me in year one of business, but I'm transitioning. This is like the exclusive announcement. The podcast is now going to be called The Happy Marketing Podcast. And we're going to talk about marketing and how to scale your business and really break down SEO, because I feel like there's so much we could say about it. I know I also talk fast. So this is going to be a great resource, whether you're a client or not, just to learn more about SEO, to learn more about blogging, keywords, but also just how to scale your business, how to break through the noise of all these trends that are going on in the world right now. And so it's going to be really fun. And it's launching not this upcoming Monday, but the week after. And so a little relaunch and just a toolkit for your business and all things marketing. So it'll be really exciting.
I love it. Well, congrats to you. I'm
Thank
so happy for you. So super excited for you. And yes, I will definitely be following you on the podcast. Make sure I click the notification bell to make sure I get notified whenever a new episode drops, because marketing is something we definitely cannot take for granted. It doesn't happen by itself.
Yeah.
So we have to be intentional about making it happen. And I love your suggestion about the email list, making sure to get started with that. Some people may ask, well, I don't even know how to start an email list. What does that even mean?
Yeah.
And so I'm sure on one of the podcast shows, you'll, go dive deep into that subject as well. How do you build an email list from scratch?
Yeah.
How does that happen?
Totally. Yeah, it'll be an episode for sure. I'm going to move that up the list because I'm like, this would be a great episode. So thanks, Renee. I love that idea.
Teamwork. See, it's all about the community and networking.
The connection. Yeah, love it.
That's right. I love it. So Lindsay, before we have to disconnect, is there a question that I did not ask that you wished I had?
Ooh, that's a good question. Oh boy. I mean, okay, ask me this. What is the number one thing I've learned to scale my business? Because I have a little adjustment on that answer. It's probably not what you're thinking.
I love that. What is the number one thing you've learned to scale your business?
To be myself. And I know that's really cliche, but I was struggling. I had really bad imposter syndrome. And I feel like a lot of entrepreneurs out there do. And when I was trying to be like everyone else, my business was not thriving. And then finally I was like, this is too much work to try to replicate what's already out there. It already exists anyway. And so when I truly started being myself and I was like, I'm going to show up on social, I'm going to do my website how I want to, all these things, that's when people connected to me and were like, okay, trust her. Like, she seems authentic. And that is the number one thing that's helped me scale my business. Yes, SEO is powerful, but you have to be yourself. Like, no one else can do what you do. And that is literally the number one suggestion I can say, is just that you have to be yourself if you're running a business. And that's how people are going to relate to you and want to work with you.
Absolutely. What fantastic advice. Be yourself.
Yes.
It's too hard trying to be somebody else.
It is.
Just be you. Be your true, authentic, 100% you.
Yeah.
Because you are awesome. Only you have your gifts and talents and skills. Only you have to bring what you bring because it's yours. And so own it. Be happy about it. That's right. Own it. Because there's only one you. And so, and you are a gift to all of the people that you get to cross paths with. So when you think of yourself in that light, whether you're offering a service or you're, have a product to sell, or, you're just trying to be a good neighbor, be your 100% true, authentic self, and everything will just fall into place the way that it's supposed to.
Yeah, it really will.
Love that. What a great question for me to ask you. Thank you for making me better.
I love it.
Well, Lindsay, this has been an absolutely fantastic episode. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for sharing yourself with us and our audience. Lindsay, you are made for something great. So go and be awesome.
Thank you.